Going to share my screen. Okay. You guys see that all okay, I'm assuming? And apparently I'm going to get not just one cat, but several cats singing. Okay, we're good. So user and service account configuration. So overview of user accounts and group policies. User accounts have two main functions. You provide a method for user authentication to the network and provide detailed information about a user. On local computers, user accounts are stored in the Security Accounts Manager or SAM database. A network running Active Directory should limit the use of local user accounts on client computers. Anybody have an idea of why that is? Or am I asking questions way too early for you guys today? So think about it. Why would you want to limit the amount of local computer only accounts? Anyone? Bueller?
Would it be because they're not part of the net?
Exactly. Thank you. Somebody answered. Okay, exactly. You don't want a whole lot of little piddly accounts out there that you can't keep an eye on. So user accounts created in Active Directory are referred to as domain user accounts. Creating configuring group policies. A GPO is a list of settings administrators use to configure user and computer operating environments remotely. A GPO scope defines which objects a GPO affects. When Active Directory is installed, two GPOs are created and linked to two containers. Default domain policy, lined to the domain object and specifies default settings for all user and computers in the domain, and default domain controllers policy, which is linked to the domain controllers OU and specifies default policy settings for all domain controllers in the domain. You view, create, and manage GPOs by using the GPO or the group policy management console. Each GPO has two main nodes in that console. The computer configuration, which is used to set policies that apply to the computers, and users, which is used to set policies that apply to the users. You can initiate a group policy update for both users and computers by entering GP update at a command prompt. And I'll give you a little piece on there. If you do GP update /force, it forces it to go out and pull the most recent one, and then it'll restart. Configuring account policies. Account policies control settings related to user authentication and logon. They are found in a GPO in the path computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, account policies. Account policies are effective only if the GPO where they are configured is linked to the domain. If you configure account policies on a GPO and link it to an OU, these policies don't affect domain users. So that's kind of easy to think of there. If it's not linked to the domain, it doesn't affect domain users. There are three subnodes under account policies. Password policy, which contains the policies that control password properties. Account lockout policy contains the policies that control user account lockout. If a user account is locked, the user can't log on until the account is unlocked. And then Kerberos policy. Administrators can use these policies to fine-tune parameters for Kerberos and deal mostly with the length of time Kerberos authentication tickets are active. All right, so this is what your GPO manager editor looks like. So you can see you can start at the top and then just drill down into whatever section that it is you need to use. Here's your account lockout policy. There's your password policy it was showing before. Delegating password settings management. You can delegate control of password maintenance tasks by right-clicking. Remember how I said pretty much everything is right-click and you can find a way to get into it. So right-click a folder in the OU or in ADUC and click Delegate Control. In the Delegation Control wizard, select users or groups to which you wish to delegate control. Select the tasks to delegate. You can delegate password settings management by delegating permissions to GPOs. So here's your example of your Delegation Control wizard. And then reset user passwords and force password change on next logon is what they're doing on that one. And you can see that's the password policies that they're putting that in there. And you can see over here the name of the policy, and then you can see allowed permissions. And also, if you scoot further over to the right, you can also see the inheritance, excuse me, on that as well. Local account policies. Account policies set in GPOs linked to OUs take precedence over policies set at the domain level, unless the GPO linked to the domain has the enforced setting enabled. Policies that aren't defined in a GPO linked to an OU use the policy setting defined in the domain linked GPO. If a policy is defined in both, the OU linked policy is used. Remember me how we were talking about that kind of that pyramid of what gets applied first? This is what they're talking about when it comes to account policies. Account policies are set in the local security policy MMC, sorry, not MMO, that's my bad, on non-domain member computers. All right, Kerberos policy settings. Kerberos is the authentication protocol used in a Windows domain environment to authenticate logons and grant accounts access to domain resources. Kerberos provides mutual authentication between a client and server or between two servers. Means the identity of both parties is verified. Kerberos uses shared key encryption to ensure privacy and passwords are never sent across the network. Uses the following components. Key distribution center. Every domain controller is a KDC, which uses the AD database to store keys. Ticket granting tickets. When an account successfully authenticates a DC KDC, it's issued a ticket granting ticket, which grants access to the DC and is used to request a service ticket without having to authenticate again. Service tickets. A service ticket is requested by an account when it wants to access a network resource. Timestamps. A timestamp is a record of the time a message is sent and are used in Kerberos to determine a message's validity and prevent replay attacks. So you know how we were talking about repudiation? Timestamps are used on that too. A replay attack occurs when an attacker captures a stream of packets transmitted between two computers and later replays the packets to one of the computers. Kerberos policy settings. Enforcers enforce user logon restrictions. If this setting is enabled, the KDC validates every request for service tickets against the rights granted to the requesting account. Maximum lifetime for service ticket. Specifies how long a service ticket can be used before a new ticket must be requested to access the resource the ticket was granted for. Maximum lifetime for user ticket. Maximum amount of time a TGT can be used before it must be renewed. Maximum lifetime for user ticket renewal. Maximum period during which a TGT can be renewed. The default setting is 7 days. So you remember there was a wizard we saw through all that, many slides through the couple of days, and they kept seeing 7 days. That's because a lot of the default settings on these are 7 days, and then you change it from there. Maximum tolerance for computer clock synchronization determines the maximum time difference allowed between Kerberos message timestamp and the receiving computer's current time. All right, so here's the Kerberos policy within that group policy management editor. Configuring password settings objects. Password settings object, or PSO, enables an administrator to configure password settings for users or groups that are different from those defined in a GPO linked to the domain, also referred to as fine-grained password policies. PSOs have the effect of overriding account policies set at the domain level, but they aren't configured like a GPO and linked to an OU or domain. PSOs are special objects that are assigned to users or groups. Creating and configuring a PSO. PSOs are created with AD Administrative Center, ADAC, ADSI edit, or PowerShell commandlets. Using ADEC is the most convenient method. With PSOs, you can specify any setting under the password policy and account lockout policy nodes, but not the Kerberos policy node. If more than one PSO applies to a user, the PSO with the highest precedence value is applied to that user. All right, so here are the basic steps for creating and using a PSO. Open ADAC, expand domain node, double-click system, and then double-click password settings container. In the tasks pane, click new and then click password settings. In the create password settings dialog box, give the PSO a name and precedence. Configure password and account lockout policy setting. Assign the PSO to one or more user groups. When a PSO is created, it is stored in Active Directory. Can be found under domain node, and then you have your path there in the system password settings container folder. Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. I got to pause for a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so managing service accounts. A service account, a user account that Windows services use to log on to a computer or domain with a specific set of rights or permissions. A service needs to log on with a service account if it runs in the background because a user doesn't start it. In the past, two types of accounts have been used as service accounts: built-in and administrator created. The OS manages the password for built-in service accounts automatically. An administrator can create a regular user account for use by a service administrator created and manage rights and permissions. Managed service accounts, or MSA, enables administrators to manage rights and permissions for services, but with automatic password management. Group Managed Service Accounts, or GMSA, provides the same functions as an MSA, but can be managed across multiple servers. Working with service accounts. Now, I will tell you, service accounts are a blessing. If you, they really help in the account of, if you think about it this way, service accounts are made for, of course, services, but I have seen places that neglect it and then try to use user accounts. Well, what happens when you have turnaround and disable those user accounts is then you have major things that suddenly stop working because you disabled this user account, wherein if you use a service account, that can stay in place forever as long as you're using whatever service it is. And if you decide to change service, you can delete that particular service, just delete or disable that service account then. But it's much better than trying to shoehorn user accounts in than for in place of service accounts. It's a mess when you try to do it that way. So there are three built-in service accounts. There's local service, intended for services and background applications that need few rights and privileges. Network service, intended for services that need local and network access. And then local system. This account should be used with caution because it has privileges that are in some ways more extensive than the administrator account when accessing local resources. A lot of times they don't use those unless they absolutely have to. Advantage of using built-in service account: no management is needed and the password is managed automatically. So as you can see here, you'll see the local service out on the edge and network service, and that just gives you an idea of what those are. Using administrator created service accounts. By using an administrator created user account, you can assign only the rights and permissions the service needs to run correctly. Guidelines to keep in mind when you use a regular user account as a service account. Like I said, it's not a good idea. Assign only the rights and permissions the service needs. Use a very complex password. Remove the account from users and domain users group if it doesn't need that group's rights and permissions. Set the password to never expire. That's another problem that I've seen happen. Never use the account to log on interactively. Use one account per service. To configure a service with a logon account, open the service's MMC, double-click the service, and click Log On tab. You must enter and confirm the password, and then Windows automatically assigns a logon as service right. And here you can see log on, and then this account has been granted logon as service right. Service principal names. The service principal name or SPN, a name that uniquely identifies a service instance to a client. Each service must have a unique SPN, and SPN is required for Kerberos authentication. An SPN consists of the following elements: service type, instance name, port number, service name. Service name can be omitted if it's the same as the instance name. SPN is specified with the following syntax, and you can see that there. If you're using user accounts rather than managed service account, you might need to manage SPNs, but in most accounts, they are created automatically. If you need to change the SPN, use the set SPN exe command, which you can see there. Working with managed service accounts, an MSA has the following attributes: has a system managed password, has automatic SPN support, is tied to a specific computer, can be assigned rights and permissions, can't be used for interactive logon, and it can't be locked out. Requirements for using an MSA include the following: must be created an Active Directory domain. The computer on which the MSA is used must be Windows 2008 R2 or Windows 7 or later. The AD module for PowerShell must be installed. For automatic SPN support, you must be using the domain functional level of Windows Server 2008 R2 or later. You create and manage MSAs with PowerShell, and I'm going to kind of just let you guys read this since I'd like to get into some of the lab stuff. So go ahead, and I'll leave this up for just a second so that you guys can come back through. I suggest that you also, if you want to, go out and the PowerShell for that one. And here are some other MSA related PowerShell commandlets. Working with group managed service accounts can be used only on a single server. If a service is running on multiple servers, you can use group managed service accounts. GMSAs, so many acronyms, can be used only on computers running Windows Server 2012 or later with domain functional level of Windows Server 2012. Created in a similar way as a regular MSA, only you must use an additional option to specify which servers can use the account. To create a GMSA named LDAP SVC, that's available to LDS Serve v1, LDS Serve v2. Anyway, all those. Use the following commandlet, and you can see right there, it'll give you those options. After the account is created, you need to go to each server using the account and run that install AD service account commandlet using the same syntax described earlier, and that's that one that's listed above there. Virtual accounts. The simplest service accounts to use. You don't need to create, delete, or manage them in any way. Microsoft refers to them as managed local accounts. To use them, configure the service to log on as an NT service name with no password. Virtual accounts access the network with the credentials of the computer account where they are used. Here's an example of what this looks like. Kerberos delegation. A key feature of Kerberos authentication protocol is it allows server to impersonate a client, relieving the client from having to authenticate to more than one service. If a client is authenticated to a service successfully, the service can use the user's credentials to authenticate to another service on client's behalf. Kerberos delegation is available when you use a domain account as a service account and the account has been assigned an SPN. Delegation tab is added to the account's properties dialog box and has three main options. Do not trust this user for delegation. Trust this user for delegation to any service, or trust this user for delegation to specified services only. Kerberos delegation is a convenient feature, especially when using multi-tiered applications where users connect only to a front-end interface. So this is your big old thing they were just talking about with all the different options. All righty, that's why I sped through. Let me stop share and I'll turn my camera back on. Okay, so we are done with that chapter. I'll leave it on to record because we are going to work on VMs. I went ahead and created a little, let me close that document. Word document that we can share that might make it a little easier for us to follow along. So let me share this. Okay. So I put all this out there in an email. If you have not been out to look at it yet, go out and search for RDP, or just type in RD and it should bring up your remote desktop connection. And we're going to try and log in to that now. And you should have a window that looks like this, remote desktop connection. And what we're going to do first is we're going to do the advanced settings. Okay. So I need you guys to talk back to me if you are not able to do things. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on advanced, and then we're going to click settings. All right. And then under there, you'll select use these RD gateway server settings. Then you need to type in rdgw.cwinst.com. And there's another checkbox down at the bottom, use my RD gateway credentials for the remote computer. Click OK. Let me bring up my remote desktop. Mine's going to look different because I'm going into something different, so I don't want to. I'm in. Okay, and you guys' username will be your first initial, your last name. That'll be your username. Your generic password is capital M, capital S, capital R, or capital P, RESS #1. And everybody should be logging in. Let me connect now. I'm logging in to mine. Still stronger passwords than Cengage, truth.
For the computer box in the RDP general tab, we follow
Oh
that.
yes, the name of your server will be HV server, and then you got an email with this information in it, but each of your names, see that 3 digits there? Each of you have your own little server, so it'll be HV server and then 123 or whatever your number is .cwinst.com, just like that.
Okay. And when I try mine, I put my my username in, and then I enter the password, and it just kind of nothing happens. It just brings me back to the login box.
Okay, let me stop share on here. Would you please share your? Oh, let me do multi-share. Share your screen for me, please.
Yeah. Okay. Can everyone see it?
Yep, HV server CWI. Grip. Click on your advanced so I can see. Where did you, okay, that's okay, click OK. And then connect, and then type in the MS Press #1. Okay, click cancel. So there have been a couple of times with people where in front of your username, type in CWIINST. I don't remember, try just that and then // other way, there you go. Try that, and if that doesn't work, we'll have to put a .com, but try that first. Okay, some computers I've run into that don't require that CWIINST / some do. So it just depends on, like mine doesn't, some do. So if you're having that problem where you type in your password and it does nothing, then put the CWIINST. So do it like this. Like that. And then password. And if that doesn't work, you can try that one. And if there's anyone that's getting error message or still having the same thing, just let me know.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So in the thing it says use Hyper-V 01 CWI.IST, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's not what that's what they used in theirs, but when they originally told me that, what you actually need to use is, and I was a little bit peeved at them for doing this. This is the format you need to do. HV server, 3 numbers, .cwiinst.com, just like that.
Okay.
So whatever your HV serve, whatever your 3 numbers are, .cwiinst.com. I found that out last night when we were when Zach and I were playing with it for his. So Gustavo, did you have a problem?
Yeah, I'm still having issues remoting on.
Okay, so share, if you don't mind sharing your screen.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
Let's see. Try it with, did you try it without the .com?
Yes.
Let me check your advanced settings. No, yours looks good. I'm wondering if someone spelled something wrong on your account. Hold on. Let me go look at the user.
Could they have added my second last name?
I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, yeah. Hi, kitty. See you, Dad. My dad's wandering past. Let's see. Sorry, I got to go in and look at users and computers. Give me 1 second. And Gwen, I'll look at yours too to make sure they didn't do something to your username too.
Sorry to do this again, but what's the password that we used? The default one?
Oh, it's MS Press #1, and so M is MS and P are capitalized. And hold on 1 second. I'll just
Okay, that's it.
So it should be.
Yeah,
Like,
they added my second last name.
oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it. They pulled it via like automatic records when they did it. So I wasn't sure on some of them how they pulled those. So you got in. Who else? Gwen, do you want to share yours and we can try yours? Oh, boy, do I understand that. Kitty, my kitty just decided to run across my keyboard here. I'll check your username while you're doing that, just in case.
Yeah, once she's done, can I get your help too?
Yeah, let me just check this real fast. Well, okay, let me go ahead and do you want to share your screen and we'll work on that one?
Sure. One second here. Let me figure out how to do that.
Should be the big green button down in the middle.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And then you have to sort through all the different screens to share.
Yeah, let's just do this one.
Okay,
So-
so,
I got the advanced stuff set up.
okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay.
Then for general, I have this.
You've got a typo. It's sever and Steve, you're missing an R.
Oh, okay, that's probably why.
And try it with that way and let's try that. And you may have to remove the .com, I'm not sure, but we'll try it that way. Gwen, I was looking at yours, it says J Stoller is your username. Is that what you're putting in? Okay. Click cancel on that and remove the .com. Like I said, some of them. Okay, try that and then the MS Press #1. Okay, looks like we might be good. What? Hold on, let me go look at my list. 231. HV SERVER 231. Is there, can you do me a favor? I can't tell if there's a space in there between that 1 and the period on the end of HV server. No. Just do me a favor, just delete everything on that, retype it. Okay. All right, let's give it another try. Oh, when you try to do the password, Control-Alt-End is how you change the how you do the one for the virtual.
Okay, so
That looks good.
I have.
Yeah, password's good. Let's try and see.
Ooh, okay, I'm in.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Go ahead and disconnect and then we'll have Gwen, you were up next, if you don't mind. We'll try and connect yours and see if we can get it to function. Okay. Are you CWI? Yep, that looks good. And then let's see your general. Let me go look at my sheet here first. Hold on. Yep, 232. Which server 232, server just okay, let's give it a try. Let's do what I just did with Mike. Delete that whole thing. Just the top one where the computer name is. Oh, that's fine. That we can do both of them. Delete that, and it's HV server 232 dot CWI INST.com, and then go down to username, do CWI INST / perfect, and then JSTOLR. And hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name right. If I'm not, I apologize. Ooh, crossing my fingers. Okay, and this is the MS, so it's capital M, capital S, capital P, and then RESS pound 1. Oh, crossing my fingers. Thinking about it. Come on. Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody else not logged or able to get in? Okay. I am going to go ahead and share. Oh, let me get out of this. Mine looks slightly different on some of the options, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yes, this one. Okay, so in order to, whoa, sorry, my cat's been, I love you, don't pet me, I love you, don't pet me all day. So I don't know what's going on. In order to change your password, you do Control Alt End. No, I have to be on the right thing. And then it'll bring up the correct thing. Click change password. I'm not going to change mine again, but type your old password, type your new password twice, and then you can either hit enter or click the little arrow. Yeah, no, that's the only problem. I'm looking because I'm on a laptop. I was like, oh, thank goodness this one actually has the full 10 key and stuff on it, because otherwise I would be in trouble. But yeah, I'm glad that I worked through this with Zach, because we were working on his, as he uses Linux. We got his working. Yay! So also, you guys, Zach's got one. He can work through stuff with y'all. Please hit him up. Okay. All right. Is everyone logged in? Is anyone not logged in, I should say? Okay. All right. So I'm going to log out of this one and go to one of the student. Let me stop sharing here. This one's one of the administrator ones. So I'm going to sign out of it and go to 235, I think. So give me just 1 second here. Let's see. Oops. HV server 235. Now watch, it won't let me log in, right? Hi, you back to come love on me for a couple of seconds before you decide you don't want love? Okay, there we go. All right, let me share this one. Then let me open up the example lab document so we can walk through that together. Now this is rather complicated, so I'm probably going to go through just some of the things. But mostly I just wanted to get you guys in so you could mess with stuff. Okay, so Stop sharing and then I will show you guys. Okay, here's the lab document. So we've already prepared the Hyper-V server in that we've logged in or remote desktop section, and you guys are already in the local administrators group because you wouldn't have been able to RDP in if you weren't already in there. You can break it if you want to. I mean, just remember, if you break it so bad you can't log into it, that either I or one of the network administrators has to fix it. So keep that in mind. Okay, so to install Hyper-V, we're going to use the steps below. Some of these you may already have done. So we're going to open Server Manager if it's not already open. Mine, I don't want to view updates. Go away. So we're going to go into, that's the problem with bouncing back and forth. Server Manager.
Can I interrupt for just a second?
I'll change my. It comes up automatically when you first log in. So here's your Server Manager dashboard if it's not already open. Then on the left pane of the dashboard, you can select dashboard, and then in the middle, you'll see the add roles and features. So there's your dashboard. And then what they're talking about here are add roles and features. And it'll pop this nice little screen up right here. I like to alt tab, but you can't alt tab them because it tries to alt tab you inside that. So then you want to check your installation type, and you'll want role-based. There's a before you begin. Okay, role-based or feature-based, that's the one we're going to want. Okay, next. Select server selection, verify your server is selected. And then, you know, it's the only one that you have on here, so that'll probably be selected. Next. And then there's server roles, Hyper-V, add required features when prompted. So you go down here, see where there's the Hyper-V checkbox. Then it'll pop up add features that are required for Hyper-V, yes. And then make sure you have the include management tools. If applicable, I suggest you do. Click add features. You'll see the little bar sit there and go across for a minute. There we go. Do I want to do anything else? No. Features accept defaults. Next. Virtual switches. Okay, so it looks like we're next and next. All right, and then we're on to virtual switches. And the next step on virtual switches, do not place check marks. Okay, just leave them blank. We'll create those later. So no check marks on any of those. Click next. Then on migration, accept defaults. So next. Default stores, accept the defaults. Next. And then confirmation, install. So you should be all the way down here and then click install. And it should start chugging along. Okay, and this might take a few seconds. And then once you're done, we will have to restart our server. Is this working okay? Is everyone, is it chugging along for everybody? Nobody's getting error messages? Yeah, yours is probably faster because, yeah, restart is pending, must restart. So when you get to this point, click close. Then it'll, just remember when you do this, you have to come back in because it will boot you out, okay? What I always do, I always change these so I know what I did. So what are we doing? We were not doing recovery. We were doing a planned reconfiguration. That's what I like to say on that one. Okay, so give it a minute. Let it restart. And I'll try to get back in a second. There's no point in trying to be like, can I log in now? Can I log in now? Can I log in now? It just irritates the server and doesn't do any good for you. And I think my cat got locked downstairs. Yep. I have a grate in my living room that if they manage to get downstairs, she likes to sit under the grate and go, meow, meow, meow. And it's like, oh, really? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try it, see how fast it is. Okay, my login attempt failed, so you can give it a try, but now? How about now? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's kind of what it feels like. I totally get it. Okay, mine's starting to log in and it's saying working on features, so. And it just booted me out again. Yes, I did see your tattoo pic. That's really cool. Is that your left leg that's on, Mike? It's on your right leg. Yeah, I have a big old dragon on my right leg. My only problem is that my cats like to climb that leg, so my dragon now has a couple of scars on it for that. All right, let's try again. All right, I was able to get in, so you guys are probably should be able, all of you, to get in. I'm just waiting for it to come back up and then I will share. Okay, there's that. All right, so we did our Hyper-V install, we rebooted. Now we're going to do the create 3 virtual switches. So we're going to do 2 for the bridge network and 1 for the VMnet 2. So we had to reopen our RDP session. Before you create a new virtual switch, open your network connections window to view the network cards installed on the computer. So you guys know how to get there?
I mean, we obviously all know how to get there, but if you wanted to, give us a step by step, I'm sure someone might appreciate it.
Okay, so I am old school, so I always like to go in and just check everything through here. You can see here's your basic network, and here's your set up a new connection or network. I'm guessing that's probably where we're going to end up here on the next one. View network connection and devices. Oh, well, yeah, I guess network connection would be turned off. Duh. But yeah, so this is what we have listed in there for our basic network connections. Okay, so we go to server manager / tools. Hold on. We got too many windows open here. Ow, that's my leg. Dang it. I was hoping that I could do that. I was like, that's rude. Yeah. So up here on the top, you'll see the tools option. And it'll go away as soon as I go down here. This is why I really should have done this on my one with multiple screens, but server manager, go to the school tools and then select server. Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I have a cat that likes to get my attention by sticking its claws right in the top of my leg. There's the Hyper-V manager. Sorry, I'm trying to go bounce back and forth between the instructions she's got on here. Yeah, it's the Hyper-V manager she wants us in. Okay. Okay, so there's the Hyper-V manager. And to select an action, select action in the virtual switch manager. Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. I'm trying to bounce back and forth, but I can't just Alt Tab. Go. And then I've got too many documents open too. Let me close some of these so it doesn't keep bringing me back to the wrong screen. There we go. Virtual switch, select the left hand. Okay. There's our virtual switch manager. And then with new virtual switch selected in left plane. So as you can see, it automatically goes to new virtual switch. Select external in right plane, select create virtual switch. Guys are probably faster at this because you can not having to bounce back and forth between the recording. Okay, so here's your new virtual switch. Then we are in the name field, we're going to call this one Bridged 1. Okay. Then in external network dropdown, we're going to do the VMX Net 3. There's that dropdown. Oh, yep, it's already on there. So see, you have the 2 different options, 1 and 2. So we're going to do that one right there. And then keep all remaining defaults, click OK. It's possible. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing. You may have connectivity issues and you may have to come back in. And then basically we do the exact same thing and then do that with the number 2 option that you see here for bridged 2. All right, so I'm going to click OK, and we'll see what it does. Yes. Oh, that's someone. Well, it's a little late now. I already clicked OK. And besides the fact that, yep, I was going to say, I think it just booted me out. So, can you guys see that it says reconnecting on there? It's hard to tell on some of these when it's sharing. Okay, so it disconnected and then came back. All right, so we're going to do another one. Click that HV virtual switch manager, external, create virtual switch, new virtual switch. I can't remember. This is why my problem is I keep doing Control Alt Delete, or not Alt Tab, and bridge. I keep trying to name it Bridger. I had a student named Bridger, and for some reason, that one keeps popping onto my head. Okay, and then for this one, we'll do the number 2. And then we'll do apply this time, just to throw it off. Click OK, let it think about it. Ezra Bridger points. Okay, so we got our 2, we got our bridge 1, bridge 2. Next, we can go into the network connections, and we should see. Let's see.
It is Cash. I just have a quick question.
Yep.
Mine came up in the error message that says error applying virtual switch properties changes. What do I do?
Hold on one second. Let me hit stop share. Go ahead and share with me. Share with the class, please. Jeff Bridger, nice Gwen.
So this is where I got it.
Click see details.
Was I supposed to use the other one?
Oh yeah, you hit the wrong one. Click close.
Okay.
Hit that drop down and do number 2. Okay, and then try that.
Awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, and then unshare. All right. Okay, so you have those 2. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so like it said, if you go back into your network, you see now you have Ethernet, bridge 1, bridge 2. Okay, so now, it wants us to in addition to the VMX NAT3 adapters, and the cards, the card for research set, repeat the steps above. I'm just looking down to see how much we have. Okay, well, we'll try to get through as much as we can tonight, okay? So we at least have the two virtual switches, and then it wants us to do another switch named VMNet2. And this one, it wants to do a private. And then, okay, so on this one, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. Private, and then VMNet2 is what we're going to call this one. It helps if you type it in correctly. Okay. So let me go back. Probably don't show that there because it's private. Then next. Yeah, will not produce another NIC. Okay. Next, we're going to create a new virtual machine for the server and do a complete operating system install. So to create the virtual machine and virtual disk, we're going to go out to the Hyper-V manager. Let me close some of these out so I don't have. Okay, so we have the Hyper-V manager. And select server, then select action, new virtual machine. So there's our server. And then there's actions. Then we're going to do new virtual machine. You guys see where that is, everybody? Right at the top, new virtual machine. Okay. Then, is everyone clear as mud? Okay, we'll just keep going. If anyone gets like stuck, tell me to stop and we'll continue. So this very first screen, it says, go ahead and click next. And then your name location should be the default location. And then we're going to do what looks like a Gen 1. Okay, it looks like it defaults to Gen 1 anyway. And then 1024, and then we're going to want to do dynamic. So dynamic is not automatically checked, so make sure you check use dynamic memory for virtual machine, and then click next. And then networking, we're going to want to select that bridged 1 that we created. So bridged 1, next. And then virtual hard disk, name 2019 Parrot. Let me go with and see what it does. All right, that one's going to be a fun one for me to. Okay, so it wants us to do 2019 parent for the name. And then, oh, did someone have a question? Location, size, default, then install OS later. And we'll make sure I'm doing the right one there. Okay, I think that's right. Okay. All right, next. Before powering on the virtual machine, you need to edit the hardware. To insert the virtual 29 server disk into the virtual CD-ROM drive, you'll follow this instructions. We'll go to that Hyper-V window. With the 2019 parent VM highlighted, click on actions. Where is? It did not name it what I wanted it to be named, did it? Okay, don't do what I did. Make sure that it actually names it correctly when you do yours. Didn't do yours correctly either. Okay, so I'm not the only one. All right, so everybody else.
You can change the name from right there. You just click on it and edit the name. No, like just left click, not right.
I can do rename on that too, so we'll see if it'll work. Yep, okay. All right, so 2019 parent, it wants us to turn to action settings. There's the settings. Under IDE control 1. Browse to the C ISOs. Okay, and it better be there. No, damn it, it's not what I asked you to do. Oops. All right, okay. Oops. Don't do what I do. There we go. Let's see. Should be one in there. And this is the problem with having other people set your stuff up. It should be under there. Is anyone else finding the ID controller one? The hyperventilating. Let me stop. Go ahead and share your screen since you've already got it up. I've been bouncing back and forth so much.
I didn't necessarily have it figured out. I think you're looking for this spot maybe, and then we're looking for the image file, correct?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the problem. Yeah, no, it's just when you bounce back and forth and answer questions, sometimes your brain's like, you want me to do what now?
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Give me 1 second here.
Wait, what do we go for it?
What?
Where's the image file at?
Would you mind sharing your screen again? See, this is why we have multi-share on.
I hadn't found it.
See, that's the problem. I'm
But-
not seeing it.
I don't know what specifically we're looking for. However, under program,
It says it's under C ISOs, and I'm not seeing a C ISOs anywhere. That's the problem. And I'm wondering if they forgot to load the ISOs for us.
They might have.
Because that would just figure. Let me go look and see if I can find them. Hold on. I think they forgot to load the ISOs on these. I'm so sorry, guys. Is anyone else? Let me go, let me disconnect from this one and go see if it's on the other
Well,
one.
rip.
Yeah, I know. We got partway through it. Let me sign out of this and go into the administrative one and see if I have access to it. And this is why I miss having full administrative control. Yeah, because we should have a we should have a folder called ISOs somewhere. Sorry, it's giving me hex, so I'm trying to get back into the other one that has the administrator rights. File Explorer. Yes, I would like to look at this PC. Yes, they did. They forgot the file because this one has ISOs in it. Okay, so helpful. I'm gonna have to ask them if they can please put the ISOs file on there. But at least we got partway through the files. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Well, let me stop. At least you can get through there, and as soon as we get the ISO files, you can at least mess
Something's
with
better
that
than
stuff
nothing.
around. Yeah, you at least got part way down through there, and I will throw more stuff out there. And you can see that she does have really good, like, step by step if we have all of the stuff where it's supposed to be. So I believe William, who's one of our tech guys that has like full admin rights to all the things, I think he has a script that should be able to push all those out to everybody's machines. So I will ask him to push the ISO file out to everyone's computers, and I will shoot you guys a message when it's done. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.